From the CyberHub bunker and studio, you're tuning in to the CyberHub Podcast. And now for your host and CISO, James Azar.
Good morning, security gang. Happy Monday and welcome to the month of November 4th, 2024. One more day for all the madness to end. Tomorrow being election day and being in Georgia, which is a battleground state. I can tell you that I could do without all the text messages, emails, and everything else that is taking place right now. But we've got a packed show for all of y'all today. A lot to talk about when it comes to cyber, including China's persistent effort to try and manipulate, one, cybersecurity companies, and two, additional potential organizations in terms of financial services, corporate espionage, and so much more, as well as some major news for large language models. We'll talk about that on today's show and so much more. So make sure to subscribe, follow, like, share, comment throughout the show. We love commentary, obviously. And now, for a tradition on our podcast, a double espresso that I've got in here. Whatever you're drinking this morning, I hope you enjoy it. We say coffee cup cheers, y'all. Brilliant. Let's go ahead and start off with Sophos on Thursday, publishing details of a year-long cat and mouse game with a Chinese government-backed hacking teams, and the fessed up to using its own custom implants to capture attacker tools, movements, and tactics. The Sophos, by the way, were in the news recently. They acquired SecureWorks here locally. So this story spans back to 2018. So very, very early. The company found itself in the crosshairs of some zero-day attacks and fending off multiple, excuse me, still recovering, and fending off multiple campaigns from 2018. The attacks included a successful hack of the Sophos Cyber Roam satellite office in India, where attackers gained initial access through an overlooked wall-mounted display unit. Investigation quickly concluded that the Sophos facility hack was the work of an adaptable adversary capable of escalating capabilities as needed to achieve their objectives. The company, it said, it countered attack teams that used a custom userland rootkit, the termite in-memory dropper, Trojanized Java files, and a unique UEFI bootkit. The attackers also used stolen VPN credentials obtained from both malware and Active Directory DC Sync, and hooked firmware upgrade processes to ensure persistence across firmware updates. That's huge, by the way. Beginning in early 2020 and continuing through much of 2022, the adversary spent a lot of effort and resources on multiple campaigns targeting devices in internet-facing web portals, noting the two targeted services were the user portal that allows remote clients to download and configure a VPN client, and an admin portal for general device configuration. By 2020, Sophos said its threat hunting teams found devices under the control of Chinese hackers. After legal consultation, the company said it deployed a targeted implant to monitor a cluster of attacked controlled devices. The additional visibility quickly allowed them to identify a previously unknown and stealthy remote code execution exploit. Whereas previous exploits require chaining with privilege escalation techniques manipulating database values, this exploit left minimal traces and provided direct access to root, the company explained. So, all in all, you see the sophistication of the Chinese, but that's not it. Another case in mid-2020, Sophos said it caught a separate Chinese-affiliated actor internally named as T-Stark, hitting internet-exposed portals. And from late 2021 and onward, the company tracked a clear strategic shift, targeting the government's healthcare and critical infrastructure organizations, specifically in APAC. At one stage, Sophos partnered with the Netherlands National Cybersecurity Center to see servers hosting attacker C2 domains. The company then created telemetry proof of value. Just shows you cybersecurity companies being the target of these attacks and the sophistication. Great for Sophos for actually sharing this. That's not where the story ends. The FBI is now asking public help in identifying the attackers behind the years-long campaign targeting Sophos' edge devices. The campaign has been attributed to some actors like APT41, APT31, and Vault Typhoon. As part of the attacks, the APTs exploited multiple zero-day vulnerabilities in internet-facing assets to gain code execution and then leverage additional exploits to deploy malware with root privileges on the vulnerable devices. And from the beginning of 2020 through much of 2022, there was a lot of effort and multiple campaigns targeting their systems. The agency is encouraging individuals who might have information on the attackers to contact it using messaging service like WhatsApp, Signal, and Telegram, or to contact the local FBI office, American embassy, or consulate and submit a tip online. So the FBI asking for help there. Microsoft, on their end, are warning that Chinese threat actors are using the Quad7 Botnet, compromised of hacked Soho routers to steal credentials in a password spraying attack. The Quad7 is also known as the Covert Network 1658 or X login. It's a botnet that was discovered by GI7 Worm that consists of compromised Soho routers. The latest reports by Sequoia and Team Simaru report that the threat actors are targeting routers and networking devices from TP-Link, ASUS, Ruckus wireless devices, Accenture NOS devices, and Zexal VPN appliances. When the devices are compromised, the threat actors deploy custom malware that allows remote access to the devices over Telnet, which displays unique welcome banner based on compromised devices. And so with X login, the Telnet is bound to TCP port 7777. For A login, it's TCP port 63256 on ASUS routers. R login is TCP port 63210 on the Ruckus wireless devices. AX login is the Telenet banner on the AX Accenture NOS devices. The port is unknown and hasn't been seen in the wild. And the ZY login is port 3256 on the Zixel VPN appliance. So Microsoft disclosed today that the Quad7 botnet is believed to operate from China, with multiple Chinese threat actors utilizing the compromised routers to steal credentials through password spraying accounts. In particular, Microsoft observed the Chinese threat actors storm 0940 using credentials from Covert Network 1658. When conducting the password spraying attack, Microsoft says the threat actors are not aggressive. They're only attempting to log in a few times per account to avoid triggering any sort of alarm. In 80% of the cases, Covert Network 1658 makes only one sign-in attempt per account per day. And that just lets you know, kind of like from our perspective as practitioners, how important it is to set the alerts sometimes low on specific things and not very high. Even if you get the noise, you start to identify patterns, like every day they fail. So maybe you send an email to that user. Maybe you try to identify why that's happening. If they tell you, no, I log in every day just fine, realize something's wrong, you reset that user's password, you kind of refresh your security operations, right? So not saying you need to do that every time, but on specific accounts that may be noteworthy to do. So again, we see China's activities, obviously targeting a whole bunch of access. Their cyber activity is significant. Again, it's modern day theft, it's modern day robbery, and for China, that's unbelievable. It's great because there's zero consequences to them as of right now. Big news around large language models, according to Google. Researchers on Friday said they discovered the first vulnerability using a large language model. In a blog post, Google said it believed the bug is the first public example of an AI tool finding a previously unknown exploitable memory-safe issue in widely used real-world software. The vulnerability was found in SQLite, an open-source database engine popular among developers. The researchers reported the vulnerability to SQLite developers in early October, who fixed it on the same day. The issue was found before it appeared to be in an official release and did not impact any sort of users. Google hailed the development as an example of the immense potential AI can have for cyber defenders. It absolutely can. And this is huge, by the way. This is a great level of success. Something small, but having large language models look for vulnerabilities within. If you're a legacy company, right, and you have hundreds and millions, if not billions of lines of code, it's almost impossible for you to go through all that code to fix it. But if you can use large language models and you can actually have them go hunt for vulnerabilities and find them and be successful at it, it makes you historically better. And it also reduces your costs. Instead of having to rewrite something, you could potentially go back and fix it, release an update, and be done with it. And at the end of the day, that's a much better ROI than anything else. So there's that. If you haven't subscribed to my Substack, jamesazar.substack.com, you can find all the latest articles, everything, all of our content, including a written summary of the show with all the links, all the stories, all the news with action items right there. You can subscribe for free, jamesazar.substack.com. We'll continue with some recent vulnerabilities here. A recently disclosed SharePoint remote code execution vulnerability tracked as CVE 2024-38094 is being exploited as an initial access to corporate networks. It's a high severity with a CVSS score of 7.2. The remote code execution flaw impacts Microsoft SharePoint. Microsoft fixed the vulnerability on July 9th as part of the July Patch Tuesday package. However, last week CISA added it to its Kev catalog, but did not share how the flaw was being exploited. A new report from Rapid7 sheds light on how attackers exploit the SharePoint flaw, stating it was used in a network breach. They were brought to investigate, and that's how the attacker accessed the server without authorization, moved laterally, compromising the entire domain. So you want to make sure you get this CVE patched. A critical security vulnerability that affects factory automation software from Mitsubishi Electric and Rockwell Automation could variously allow remote code execution, authentication, bypass product tampering, or even denial of service. According to CISA, which warned yesterday that an attacker could exploit the Mitsubishi Electric bug, that CVE 2023-6943. It's got a CVSS score of 9.8 by calling a function with a path to a malicious library while connected to the device, resulting in authentication, bypass, remote code execution, denial of service, and data manipulation. The Rockwell Automation bug, CVE 2024-10386, has a CVSS score of 9.8, and this stems from a missing authentication check. An attacker with network access could exploit it by sending a crafted message to a device, potentially resulting in database manipulation. The out-of-bounds read that could result in denial of service also affects Rockwell Automation Factory Talk Thin Manager, as well as Mitsubishi's Electric FA engineering software products by sending specially crafted products. So all in all, you want to make sure you get those patched up. The United States and Israel published a cybersecurity advisory describing the latest activities of an Iranian threat group, including attacks targeting the recent Olympics and surveillance camera. The FBI has been tracing this group's activities since 2020. The threat actor is known as the private sector as Cotton Sandstorm or Haywire Kitten, but it's probably best known as Imminent Passagard. Really, like 732,000 names? Please stop. According to the new advisory written by the FBI and Treasury and Israel's National Cyber Directorate since mid-2024, the name of the front company has been Araya Sapphire Eindansuntion. I can't say it. The company, which has been legally registered in Iran, is used to finance related and HR purposes, among others. Imminent Passagard, now Araya Sapphire Eindansuntion, officially has been providing cybersecurity services within Iran, including to government organizations. However, the U.S. government has repeatedly warned the firm has conducted malicious cyber operations. The report from the FBI shares the group's latest tactics, techniques, and procedures, and describes some of their more recent operations worthy of taking note. How they're attacking IP cameras, mainly targeting devices in Israel, but also in Gaza and Iran. The agencies also pointed out that they're using various AI services to generate photos and for voice modulation. All in all, there's that there. LastPass is warning of an ongoing campaign targeting its customers where scammers are writing reviews for its Chrome extension to promote a fake customer support phone number. When you call the phone number, they're tricking people into giving them remote access and then taking over their accounts. Threat actors are attempting to do that. And as you can tell here, you see they're posting the same number over and over and over and over again under different names, and so forth. The scammer will answer the phone, impersonate to be a LastPass, direct individual to a site where they must enter a code to download a remote support desktop. Individuals call this will be greeted, and then they try to take over the device and then get into their LastPass. This phone number is obviously part of a larger campaign, including targeting companies like Amazon, Adobe, Facebook, Hulu, YouTube TV, Peacock TV, Verizon, Netflix, Roku, PayPal, Squarespace, Grammarly, iCloud, Ticketmaster, and Capital One. For sake of all things, when you see a phone number in the comments, don't use it. Just go to the website of the company, look up the support phone number, and call that number. Finally, German police arrest 2 for alleged ties to a DDoS for hire platform. German police shut down the platform used to carry out the DDoS attacks and arrested 2 men for allegedly operating the site. Police seized the infrastructure tied to the platform dstat.cc, as well as Flight RCS, a clear web marketplace for designer drugs and synthetic cannabinoids. The takedown operation was conducted by the Central Office for Combating Internet Crime in Frankfurt, in part of the Operation Power Off, an international initiative to disrupt the DDoS for hire industry, which has opened the door for hacktivists and many, many, many more. So there's that. Those guys are taken down. Their names have not been released, nor their location, but all in all, we know that they were in Germany. That's it for our show this morning. We'll be back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern, live with all the latest and greatest. Until then, if you haven't exercised your right to vote tomorrow, please make sure to do so. Until then, have a great rest of your day, and most importantly, y'all, stay cyber safe.
We love feedback, so make sure to connect with us on social media and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast listening platform.